Hi, everyone. Welcome to Forbes Talks. I'm here with my colleague, Louisa Kroll, executive editor. Among other things, Louisa, you've got Billionaires writ large under your purview. And we're talking about the record-breaking amounts that 5 of them lost last year.
Yes,
Poignant silence. How much did they lose?
They lost, well, the top 5 or the bottom 5, however you define it, lost $378 billion. Those were the top 5 records of all time since we've been tracking. Of course, you have to be worth an insane amount of money to lose that much money. And these 5 definitely qualify.
Well, so if 2022 was a very bad year, that would suggest 2020, when were the good years? So let's start with Elon Musk. Of course, he's the one who
everybody's
lost
talking.
So much.
Yeah, everybody's talking about Elon Musk. It's just insane. You know, based on calendar year 2022, we have him down $125 billion.
Wow.
From his peak, it's more like $180 billion. It's just crazy. But the previous year in 2021, he gained $116 billion. And in 2020, he gained, let me check, $129 billion. So altogether, in 2 years, he was up $245 billion. So the fact that he lost $125 billion, hey,
it was remarkable he lost that much, and he was still the richest man in the world for quite a period.
Yes, he was. He was.
Was it all Tesla? Was it our euphoria around Tesla that was really...
Well, Tesla, the euphoria around Tesla definitely drove up his fortune. There is no doubt about it. That was the main factor. He also has a substantial stake in SpaceX. But again, it's really all Tesla. But what's really interesting and what a lot of people are talking about now is how much of the downfall, certainly at first, was tied to his acquisition of Twitter. That really sent people into a tailspin, you know, because he really wasn't as focused on Tesla as they hoped he'd be. And a lot of people say that that is the main reason Tesla stock has gone down so much as well. He's also had to sell his stock to make good on his Twitter purchase. And now you're seeing some pressure. I mean, there's a lot of talk about, you know, do people still want to be buying Teslas from a guy like Elon Musk?
Well, because he's been so involved, so openly, publicly involved in Twitter, and that was only $44 billion. That's like chump change compared to the grand scheme of things. But let's talk about the 4 others, because, you know, we do talk about Musk a lot. Who are the others that contributed to this massive deterioration of billionaire wealth?
It's really some of the most prominent tech titans. I mean, the tech sector has really gotten hit. And, you know, today we're hearing about Microsoft taking a hit. But actually, Bill Gates and Steve Ballmer were not. They just missed being in the real loser category. If it was today, maybe they would have been. But, you know, at number 2, it was Jeff Bezos of Amazon. He was down $75 billion. No, actually, he was down $85 billion. And again, the previous year, he'd been up $75 billion. After that, it was Mark Zuckerberg of Meta. He was down $77 billion. And then the Google co-founders, you know, now Alphabet, Sergey Brin and Larry Page both lost significant amounts of money as well. I think Page lost $46 billion and Brin was down $44 billion. And ironically, you know, Page had been up $46 billion the previous year, and Brin had been up $44 billion. So again, we're talking about just shifting money around. It's kind of easy come, easy go for these guys.
Well, and there is a certain degree of, I wouldn't say culpability, but certainly you can tie a cause and effect with Musk. Is this much more about market momentum? I'd say with Zuckerberg, who is the one person still in charge of his company, there has been criticism around him going deep into the metaverse, perhaps at the expense of other things that bring in revenue.
Look, I think that there was so much bullishness you know, on tech stocks and on the things that they were doing. And I think actually the pandemic helped drive that. I mean, there was so much need. And now you're seeing, you know, with inflation, with the supply chain, you just see a lot of these tech companies, you know, kind of probably returning back to earth. Like they probably were not sustainable at those kind of crazy high valuations. And, these guys are the leaders in that, but you see that all across the board, whether it's in, unicorns to newly public tech stocks. But, because they have the most at stake in these companies that have huge market caps, you see them as some of the biggest, ones to fall.
Anything else we'd be watching? Obviously, we're all looking at the markets. We're looking at, just euphoria or lack thereof around tech stocks. I wonder if this will put less heat on them, because one of the things during the pandemic was this, what some people would consider to be egregious amounts of wealth that were created. Now we've seen big drops. I don't know, might not create sympathy, but does it change the climate at all? In your mind?
I think it's too early. I think that there's still a lot. I mean, it's all relative. These people are still worth, billions and billions and billions of dollars. Last year there were 10 with $100+ billion fortunes. Now there's 7. But, please, these people are still worth, tens of billions. So I think there's still a lot of animosity. I think that there's been so much bad behavior of late. I think Sam Bankman-Fried and Elon Musk together have really kind of made sure that the billionaire haters are going to be around for a while. And I don't think losing $378 billion for these 5 is going to change that right now, at least.
Great. Thanks, Louisa.
Thank you.